Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a quick look at and installing the red light bar LED taillights in black available for the 05 to 09 Mustang. You should be checking these out if you're looking for arguably the most popular taillights in the category for the early S197s, the taillights that mimic that of the S550 styling. Now, as you know, the 15 to 17 Mustangs have the protruding 3D taillights that have the tri-bar that you see here. Now, this is a lot more modern than your factory S197 taillights that are a lot more flat, and the technology within them is going to upgrade the lighting appearance and, of course, visibility at nighttime tenfold. This one here uses a full LED technology for the brake lights, running lights, and of course the turn signals and hazards. And as a matter of fact, they're gonna blink in sequence. So if you're someone looking for a modern rear end look and you also want the sequential to go along with it that's built in, this is a great way to go. Now, like I said earlier, these are the red light bar taillights in black. So as you can see, the lenses themselves are more of an OEM red reflective, and the trim around them will have a gloss black finish. The factory lights use a very similar lens, the red reflective, and we'll take a closer look at them side by side later on, but just know that this is gonna keep more of that OEM styling. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more aftermarket in appearance, you might wanna check out the smoked version in the category as well to give it a little bit more stealth. The gloss black trim gives it a more modern touch as well because the newer S550s come with a lot more gloss black accents, whereas the older gen vehicles like this one typically have more matte black features. Now, this guy is going to reuse your factory incandescent reverse light, but all in all, the rest of the technology is going to be a big upgrade, and you get 3 individual reflectors underneath of it as well. Now, when it comes time for the sequentials to kick in, they'll work in conjunction with your brake lights, so as soon as you hit the brake, they'll quickly flash in sequence and hold for as long as you have the brake held. And of course, for your turn signals and hazards, they'll work as well. Price tag for this set is going to come in right around $525. It is a complete plug-and-play package. You don't have to transfer over any other lighting except for the reverse light bulb itself, but a new harness and socket are already attached to the light on the back end. The sequentials are built in as well. Install: 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. It'll take you about 30 minutes or so from start to finish. I'm going to walk you through the whole process. Let's get started. Tools used in the install include a 1/4 inch ratchet and an 11mm deep socket. Now, the first step of the uninstall, of course, would be to pop your trunk. We're going to focus on uninstalling our passenger side taillight, and you'll just repeat that for the driver's side, of course. After that, you're going to be removing this trim panel on the inside of the trunk latch. Yours should have a couple of push pin clips on there holding it in place in each of the corners. Grab a panel tool and pop those off. Ours is actually missing the hardware, so I'm just going to lift off and set it aside. Do that next. All right, so you want to pick up the plastic panel here and just set it aside inside of your trunk. Now, we have 3 11mm nuts securing the taillight to the body of the vehicle. We have 1 up top and then 2 further down on the inside. Grab an 11mm deep socket and get those off. I'm going to start here at the top. All right, once you break it loose, you can typically get it off by hand. Okay, and just set them inside the trunk. Do that for the rest of them. So we have 1 farther down here, same thing. And now we have 1 just a little bit up from that last one. Next, we can unplug our taillight harness by just pinching and pulling it straight up. Next, we can pull our taillight out of the vehicle. You may have to wiggle it back and forth to pop that guy off. Push on the grommet from the inside, pushing it out, just like this, and set your taillight aside. So we got our factory taillight off of the passenger side of our 06 GT behind me, and it's on the table next to our red LED taillight. I want to take you through some similarities and differences here, and I gotta say, from head to toe, they are pretty different with one exception. The big similarity here is going to be the color of the lenses and the factory quality that's built into the new aftermarket light. These are going to use all OEM quality materials and OEM CAD data from Ford to be a perfect fit, and the lens itself mimics that of the factory taillight, so they're red, clear, and reflective. Now, a lot of aftermarket lights are either smoked or with a dark tinted lens, getting rid of that red with a black housing. This gives you the more OEM look, but with the modern design. This modern design, of course, mimics that of the new S550, the 15 to 17 model. 18 Plus uses a more angular taillight. These are more of a straight tri-bar. Now, those tri-bars protrude out of the housing itself, whereas your factory S197, or early S197 rather, is going to be a lot more flat and flush with the lens itself. So this one's a little bit more outdated as these vehicles are starting to age. The new modern taillights give you a slightly more protruding or 3D effect with the taillights themselves. And other than that, a big difference is going to be with the technology. The factory lights use an incandescent bulb for each one of the tri-bars. This guy here is a full LED replacement with the exception of the reverse light. LEDs are going to operate for your turn signals, hazards, and your brake lights, as well as just your daytime running lights when your taillights are on. Now, when you hit your brake light, your turn signal, and your hazards, it's going to blink in sequence. These do have the sequential already built in. No need to pick up any extra harnesses in the aftermarket to plug that in after the fact. It's all taken care of out of the box. So if you're looking for a sequential modern look, this is a great way to go. Factory one, again, just a little bit more outdated at this point. Now, one last thing I want to mention there, of course, and I did touch on that, is the fact that you have to transfer over your reverse light. Now, the reverse light housing is already built in here, but we do have to pop off the bulb from the old socket and just plug that guy in. So that reverse light is going to be incandescent. There are other options out there that do use a full LED replacement. This is going to help keep the cost down a little bit. With that said, let's transfer the bulb over and then plug them in. So now you want to turn your factory light around. You're going to head over to the reverse light here in the corner, turn counterclockwise to unlock it, pop that guy out. Now that's your factory reverse light bulb. You want to go to the base, pull that guy off, and set it down. Now we can install it on the new tail light. Now on the back of the new light, same procedure, twist and pop out the reverse light in the corner, take your bulb and plug it in. All right, you just want to be careful not to break the glass of that bulb, snap that in, and now we can put it back in the housing. Turn it right or clockwise to lock it in, and now we can install the housing in the car. All right, so installing your new taillight, you want to feed the harness through that open hole and pull that grommet through so it seats, giving you that weatherproof seal, just like that. Next, you can just plug in that plug and play harness right into the factory harness on the vehicle. Next, use the factory 11mm nuts, thread them onto the studs, and again, you can really get them all the way down by hand, and then grab your socket and tighten them down one by one. Perfect. Repeat that entire process on the other side, and then we can put our trim panel back on. Once your other taillight's taken care of, put your trim panel back on, and again, ours is missing our hardware, but at this point you want to put yours back in and you're good to go. That's going to wrap up my review and install for the red light bar LED taillights in black, available for the 05 to 09 Mustang. You can get yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.